Hi, I'm Josh Hicks for Indiana Court Times. I have with me today Leslie Dunn, the State Director of CASA and Verdell Releford, a CASA from Tippecanoe County, and she's been doing that for 14 years. Leslie, I'd like to start with you. 2020 marks 30 years of CASA in Indiana. What sorts of notable growth have you seen? Numbers of volunteers, children helps, that sort of stuff.
Yes. 30 years ago, in 1990, the state office was started, and at that time, there was 22 CASA programs in Indiana serving children in 30 counties, which was about 33% of the state. Now, the state office has started programs in 56 additional counties, and we're now in 93% of the counties, 86 counties. So as of the end of 2019, we had 69 programs in 86 counties in Indiana. And we have seen obviously significant growth in the number of volunteers and children served. 2005 is when the law changed to require a CASA for every child. So after that time, we saw a lot of growth. In 2005, we had approximately 1,940 volunteers, and we served around 16,000 children. And in 2019, we had 4,500 volunteers and we served almost 25,000 children. So we've seen a lot of growth.
And Verdell, you, again, like I said, you've been doing this for 14 years, and the number of children you personally have reached is fairly high. Can you speak to that, the amount of children that you've helped over the years?
I had to check with my supervisor how many kids I've served because I've had many cases, and I'm still going. And she says close to 60. So I said, okay. So it's been really rewarding, and just to serve those kids and just to see the growth of the parents that parent their children better, and to get them back home. And even the ones that adopted out, still it's really rewarding because they find a forever home.
That's great. Do you get to keep up with some of those kids and watch them grow up a little bit? I bet that's very rewarding, I'm sure.
Yes.
And Leslie, you celebrated that milestone of the 30 years at CASA Day back in March, when we could have large gatherings. How many volunteers turned out, do you think? And how does it feel to see all those faces in the crowd?
We had over 400 people there, and it's incredibly inspiring, and it really gives me hope. And even reflecting back now and thinking about, everything going on in our country, it just is so inspiring and hopeful that we have people like Verdell that give of themselves and their time to help children in our community and to visit them and help have their needs be met while they're in foster care. It's just an incredibly inspiring thing.
And as the pandemic progresses, have you been getting a lot of questions from volunteers as far as like what's changing and what's new?
Yes, we thought the questions would be, is it safe for me to go back and visit? But surprisingly, a lot of volunteers, in true fashion with our volunteers, are asking us, when can I go back and see my kids? They're all very anxious to go see their children. So we're putting some things in place to try to keep them as safe as possible in terms of protocols for wearing masks and other safety precautions. But we're doing everything virtually right now, virtual visits with children and virtual child and family team meetings. But we are in the phase of moving back towards in-person visits. And most of the court-appointed special advocates are very anxious to see their children.
I bet. That's great that you can keep that work up during quarantine. And Verdell, I'll ask you the same question. What's changed in your mind personally as all of this is going on?
It has changed drastically for me because I'm usually very hands-on and I like to visit my kiddos and the families. But Zoom has been really a good replacement. I mean, it's really been good. I can see the family setting, interacting with the other children in the home. Just in part, the Zoom is really working out really well.
I think of this advocacy as a public service. Your definition of family is certainly the entire community as a family. What do you think our communities would look like if more people volunteered and did this kind of work?
I think kids would be safer. I think I even think the cases would help move along a little quicker because the judges would have more information to help move the case along outside of DCS.
That's fantastic. Those are pretty much all the questions that I had for you two. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say about the program as a whole that you'd like to leave with us today?
You know, it's an incredibly valuable program that provides additional information to courts to help them make better decisions for children. So it serves the courts in that way, and in letting them know how these kids are doing when they're going through the severe trauma that occurs when they're removed from their home. But it also is an incredible benefit to the children and families. Many of these volunteers develop long-term relationships with these kids and really mentor them and help them through some really difficult times and encourage them to stay in school and really play a vital role in their lives.
I'd just like to thank both of you for your time today. That concludes our interview for the second digital issue of Court Times. Thank you so much.